Look, Koyo just told us that he's going back to Kumasi. Oh, Plaza Suits.
Yes, hello.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, hello, Rich
It's
Love.
hey, you are one. We'll surcharge you.
Rich Love Imba, how are you doing? Thank you so much for your wonderful hospitality at Oak Plaza. I want to you.
I have a very special dedication. I think we should do that before we start the newspapers. It's a happy 70th birthday to Mrs. Grace Amponsa, proprietress of North Legion School Complex, Agboba. It's from your children, Evelyn, Opong, Sally, Nanayao, Kofi, all your in-laws and grandchildren. So God bless you, ma'am, and happy birthday to you, Mrs. Grace Amponsa. And Mrs. Grace Amponsa is from the very famous Adrinsa Publications family. I mean, that's an incredible family.
This is for you, right?
Yes, it is for me. So happy 70th birthday to Mrs. Grace Amponsa. I have another dedication. Happy birthday to Sinclair Arnold J. Kofi Osekre. You're 45 today, is from Gifty, and Gifty says that you are her heartbeat. So happy birthday to you, Sinclair Arnold J. Kofi Osekre. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday. And if it's your birthday,
it's also your birthday today.
Enjoy your birthday.
Kweku Oklu. You're the son of Mensa Oklu of the Hoga Clinic in Akachi. It says you're 24 years today. Grow up and be a more responsible child, he said.
And you know what? If it's your birthday, why don't you tweet at us or put a post on our Facebook
or even give us a
page.
picture of yourself and how you celebrate.
We'd love to see you.
We want you to become closer to us.
Okay, one more birthday dedication. Happy 87th birthday to our wise and intelligent head of family, Comrade St. Lattes, from all members of the Blessed Latte family. So, Comrade St. Lattes, your birthday. Happy birthday today. You're 87.
Comrade.
Yeah, that's a lot of blessed years.
Means he's
Enjoy
CPP,
your birthday.
Right? So, Roland, what does your name mean, Roland?
Roll the land.
Far from the land.
Is that a meaning?
Far from the land.
I think so,
okay.
Oh, it has a meaning. That's cool.
What does that mean? That means you are up high in the air, far from the land.
No. Take inspiration from myself.
Why do you ask?
Because
his motivation was about name. You have to live your name.
Oh, I missed it.
And the meaning of your name should be used to bless others. Or live the part.
I don't know how. Mama V.
Mama V means little mama, right?
Little grandmother.
Little grandmother,
yes.
Yeah. So that means even from an early age, you'll be looking after many people.
Oh, yes, I have been. Like, I've been taking care of the two.
Oh, yes.
That's a lot of work.
We have benefited from mamaism.
Yeshua.
Let's do the newspapers now.
Yeah, we have to do the newspapers. Mama, we start with the Daily Graphic, if you can.
Front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Get common platform to fight cyber attacks. Fast-track integration process. President tells African countries. So fast-track integration process. And then government dissolves KNUST Council. 7-member IMC takes charge. This is not all happening, right? I mean, like, it's just developing rather very quickly, the Kumasi incident. So more on this when we get into the details. Also, Graphic Tops GJA Awards nominees right here at Multimedia. 5 of our colleagues have also been nominated. So congratulations to all those who've been nominated. Back page of the Daily Graphic. 2 die in Densu River at Tetegu. And 1,687 illegal miners so far arrested by Operation Vanguard.
That's telling.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to do the Finder. The Finder has on the front page, investors ditching bonds because outflows causing CD depreciation. And the Standard Bank, they have a report that has just been published newly, and it's stating that because we've had more outflows from our economy, and investors also have not been interested in the bonds that we've been floating, etc. Well, it also means that the CD has been suffering in the process.
Yeah.
We also have government fiscal consolidation agenda on track. Again, according to Standard Bank, take up careers in cybersecurity. The youth have been encouraged, and KNUST to reopen within 14 days under an interim council. The last story on the front page that we're going to mention is about Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, close to harmonizing a cocoa trading system. Okay, so it means that they're going to agree on pricing before they go and trade on the commodities market or the international market, so to speak.
Positive move if they can pull it off.
Let me just read this one from the Observer newspaper. The Ghanaian Observer says government cracks a whip over KNUST riots, dissolves Varsity's governing council. Obeda Samoa backs creation of Oti region. He's a Likpe man, so very integral man as far as the traditional area of the Likpe area is, and says exercise is long overdue. Ex-NDC MP hails Planting for Food and Jobs program. African unity cannot be achieved without peace and stability, President Akufo-Addo, and safeguard Ghana's peace, Boniface to Muslim leaders. Those are the stories we can look at from the two newspapers.
Okay, I'll do two as well. The Daily Guide first. And on the front page, jobless Africa youth, volcano in waiting. Guess who's saying that? It's our president, Nana Akufo-Addo. AG saves IGP from jail. Yeah. Nyaho cries over NDC defeat. And our banner headline from the Daily Guide, KNUST Council and VC sacked. 7-member IMC in place. Well, that's a rather definitive headline there from the Daily Guide. They suggest that the Vice-Chancellor has been sacked from KNUST. Well. Today we will assess that situation and see whether that is indeed the case. Ghanaian Times has these. Africa winning war on terrorism. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. He's been speaking in Nigeria. IGP escapes jail. AG intervenes in contempt case. KNUST board dissolved, interim council takes over, university to reopen in 2 weeks, and 47 galamseyers arrested, vehicles and equipment destroyed. We have a couple of stories on the back page as well. First one, government to employ 2,700 extension officers. And government committed to supporting technology startups. That's Professor Frimpong Boateng saying this. And we see him in a picture with two of our guests on who were on the JoyNews channel yesterday, those who have created the new science set for students. It's a lab in a box. Very clever. Yeah.
Is this all in town?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Are we done? Or should I do the Gold Street business?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah?
I'll do the Dispatch and the Statesman after
Good
that.
stuff. All right, let me just do the Gold Street business. FDA warns of sanctions, blames media houses for non-compliance of advertising directives. Also, NPA touts decline in illegal petroleum diversion. We did that story yesterday. Also, in the Gold Street business, electricity consumers to have power source options by 2023. Turkey to invest $1 billion in Ghana through trade. And cybersecurity fund to be introduced in 2019 budget. Back page, Ghana to host His Royal Highness the Earl of Wessex for the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award Forum. Oh, Prince Edward. So, virtually the entire royal family making it.
We want the Prince and Princess of Sussex here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You mean the Duke and Duchess?
Oh, Duke, is that? What did I say?
Prince and Princess. No, but we don't blame you. You're used to, chiefs from Masama and those areas. Kuntunse. So Prince and Princess is normal for you.
Nana, Nene, and
we're used to Duke and Duchess in Ghana.
Otumfor and all that.
All right, let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Front page of the Dispatch now. Structural vulnerability assessment. Ghana, first African country to launch report. For a whole region to vote on for a whole region to vote on new ones is legal nonsense, and legal nonsense in quotes. That's Dr. Obeda Samoa saying strongly there. And here's Kweku Bako on the KNUST matter. Says Kweku Bako on KNUST demo, it was needless. Also, KNUST to reopen by November 8, 2018. Let's do the Daily Statesman now. Ex-NDC MP urges colleagues to back PFJ That's the Planting for Food and Jobs. Robert Storm, Police Armory, and Steel AK-47s. KNUST reopens in 2 weeks. Governing Council dissolved. Ekufuado, Africa needs peace for unity. So these are the front page headlines, the Daily Statesman newspaper. Now, let's dig in.
Yeah, I guess we're done with headlines. What do we want to talk about?
We want to talk about KNUST. I mean,
yes,
the dissolution.
No doubt.
And I was asking myself, what does that, so does it mean that the council, the previous council, the dissolved council, didn't give in to government's request? Because remember that they met interested parties, stakeholders, when they traveled to Kumasi. There was Kojo Oponkuma, there was the National Security Minister, there was also the Education Minister. And then suddenly we heard yesterday, and I learned that it happened about an hour before we all heard about it, because there was also the fear that somebody could have gone to court to injunct the process.
Right.
So they quickly wanted to do it quietly and then come out. But I don't know, all this is happening rather too quickly. Like, is this the way to go? I'm thinking this is too radical, isn't it?
Well, what happened was a radical action taken by the students. And it was also because there was no forethought. Not that people didn't have foreknowledge about the tensions that were brewing. I think in all this is our inability to be able to pick up the intels or the intelligence as to what really was happening for the security agencies to act in the first place. And now somebody has to take an action. Albeit, if you follow what the debate or the arguments are, there could be some elements of perhaps arbitrariness in terms of the decision that was taken. But at the end of the day, government has to be answerable to the peace and security on the campus of the coming University.
Is it so easy to dissolve a whole university council?
No, we have an act that tends to establish the universities and the way the councils are put together, etc. So, so this one seems to be an affront a bit. If you take a look, because the process.
This happened on Monday, right?
Yes, it happened.
Unless
you mean the council or the
no, I mean the clash.
The clash, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been very vocal in raising questions about the competence of the Vice Chancellor and the Council. Some of the decisions that they've taken, I've questioned. I've wondered why they thought those were wise. But we had a problem. There was a riot, a demonstration that went crazy. That was our problem. Government decided they needed to intervene to help solve that problem. That intervention itself, I mean, in the back of my head, I was thinking, does government really feel this cannot be resolved by the parties themselves? But, you know, they felt they had to intervene. So I felt intervention would be to lead the parties to a solution. And then the announcement comes that they have dissolved one party.
Yeah.
So I started to ask myself, okay, how many options were available to government? And was this the best one? I mean, yeah, I was questioning whether this council had made the right decisions. But is the solution to that dissolving them? Or was there some other way of getting them to perform better or to fix what they've done wrong? And in our history, when has a council ever been dissolved because students rioted? I mean, students riot too. It's kind of what you expect. Students are supposed to be the most vocal, politically active group in any society. So as for rioting, it's you kind of expect it. And what you do as a...
Anytime it happens, we'll dissolve the council.
Can we do that? Can we do that? So I wonder whether government went for the best option available to them. And because we don't have information about the process that led to this decision, it's difficult for us to make that
it also sounds as though the dissolved council perhaps were not giving in to what government was asking them to do. Like you want to read into what has happened.
You made that point, and it made me think, because okay, so what could government have possibly asked them to do that they would have refused? And based on the refusal, government feels we must have our way, so we're dissolving you so that what we want
so
to be
that
done.
the
What
new
could it be?
council
What could it be?
can let go of the vice chancellor. I mean, if this happens, like it's like a sequence, like we see where this is headed, and if it goes there, I mean, it will be really disappointing. Like we saw it coming and it happened.
And if you take a look at the statement issued by the University Teachers Association of Ghana, is it the chapter, the head of the chapter on the campus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology? It also gives you an insight into what the thinking of the academic community is about this, because
they are incensed.
Yes, because if it happens like this, it could happen to anybody. Yes.
And we have institutions that have been set up by certain regulations by which the way we think our democratic dispensation has been structured. We need to have our institutions respecting the statutes or what the regulations are, and then the institutions that are established out of those regulations. Now, I am thinking, and based on what I have read, and Justice Sai and a number of people, Srem Sai, the lecturer at Gimpa Law, and all of them making commentary on social media, you get to find that perhaps maybe government could have acted in a better stead, knowing that a lot of things
may have
happened based on speculations about government's involvement or non-involvement on management at the University of Education, Winneba, and the other relevant public institutions and all that. And then also, what kind of precedent are we setting for those who are in academia? Because we should know very young PhD holders, as well as those even teaching in the universities, were backing the students many of the time during this crisis. But they also are career academicians. They would want to aspire to positions of either managing the universities or various tertiary institutions across the country. What does it tell them that in future, if something should happen, who would the
what does it tell them? It tells them
who will take a decision?
It tells them that the executive is too powerful.
No.
They can do anything they want to do. That's what we say.
And now,
this
even
is
though
show of power. If you think you have more power than me,
and now even though many people are condemning the vice chancellor that he should have taken a better decision or managed the crisis better, the whole effect of the vandalism by the students seems to have been lost. And it seems to give a certain mindset that, well, the students have won, and rather their managers who perhaps were a bit worried.
There's the University of Ghana, right? They're watching. There's the University of Cape Coast. They are also watching.
But you know, Roland made an important point about how government's move appears to suggest that, look, the students were right.
Yeah.
And the strongest part of this government decision that indicates that is the fact that they put the, as is the case, they've put an SRC representative on the new board, but they haven't put the vice chancellor, who has not been removed from office, and who ought to be a member of the council. They haven't put him on the new council. Okay, so it's like there were two sides in this thing. One of them can be part of the new council, the other can't. So you are sending a very clear message that you are with the students and not with the vice chancellor. So what happened? I really want to know.
We will try later on this morning here on the show to get some answers to all the things that we're raising. I mean, we're raising these things because we can't find any concrete, like we're not sitting or standing on anything concrete. It's just what we've heard and we're putting them together.
Just one more thing though, we need to clarify the role of the Chancellor of the university here.
Sorry, what happened to the meeting?
It got cancelled. Because this action was taken. Okay, but I need to understand just legally, the Chancellor of the university also sits on the council, does he not?
Yes.
Maybe he was consulted.
No, what I mean is, his name is not on the new council, the list of members of the new council.
This is an interim council, right?
Yes, but what does it mean?
He was the Chancellor of the old council.
We'll do some work this morning. We will try and get to the councils of the other institutions that we know. And then we'll see what is missing in this particular one. We'll do some comparisons.
And we also have an interaction with the Is it the president of the
University Teachers Association
of
that,
Ghana? Richard Kujuna will bring us that interview, and we'll play that in a bit for you.
Yeah.
Gosh, intrigue.
All right,
intrigue.
I think we have just a little time to do my job.
The cars that have been destroyed, and some of them are not old cars.
So,
I mean,
okay, so the other thing that you guys perhaps have not heard.
Destroyed by the
you remember my interview with Afiba Harrison on News Desk, which I am told has gone viral.
Yes.
And there are different commentary. I haven't listened to the comments myself, but I get calls and I get people telling me different things. So there are a number of people who don't seem happy because I asked about the violence, the damage, and who was going to pay.
Okay.
But
So it sounds to me like people don't want us to talk about the distraction on campus.
But why not?
They just want to put us in a certain corner, talk about only this, you know. And
but it happened. I mean, we all saw the videos.
Yeah.
We saw young people destroying property.
Some of them were taking monies out of the cars.
Yeah.
I'm telling
So
you.
what happens? I mean, what do people expect?
people want us to
happen?
move on from that.
Anyway,
Why?
Arab Spring, Ghana Spring.
No, this is not. Let's do myjoyonline.com before we bring you some sports. Guys, myjoyonline.com.
Yeah, okay. So what's on there? We have this one, KNUST Governing Council dissolved. But before that, 5 multimedia journalists shortlisted for 2017 GJA Awards. We're so proud of our colleagues who have made us look good once again. Thank you so much, you guys. Well done.
They bring us all the glory.
Oh, yes, they do. Well done. And, okay, we've done this one. KNUST Governing Council dissolved. Boy, oh boy. Alabi is the solution to NDC's problems, according to Victor Gbeho. Okay. Anas gets support from Swedish IT firm to expose corruption. Go, Anas. Expose away. And Professor Lamte debunks misconceptions about breast cancer. Oh, interesting read. Go and check it out. In Takwa, police arrest Nigerian woman for trafficking, rescue 10 girls. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they've been she's been trafficking girls. And in St. Louis, SHS pantryman suspended for 90 days after fondling student. Oh, it scares me, you know, what could possibly be happening to our children in school after we place them in the care of professionals. IGP escapes sentence in contempt case. Now, I was talking to Roland about this off air, okay? So the IGP was actually convicted of contempt, but then the yes, but then the Attorney General came in.
He was convicted. So he's an ex-convict.
And appealed.
Oh, not convicted, no, sentenced. Wait. He was
never
found of contempt.
He was convicted.
Wait.
He was convicted of contempt. He was convicted of contempt.
I don't know this argument.
Which makes
I'm trying to find the terms like you just confused
the IGP
me.
is a lovely gentleman. He's a lovely gentleman. I get on very well with him.
He's gotten reprieve, so is he an ex-convict then?
Wait, let's walk through the thing.
Or he's been quashed.
Let's walk through.
Because we were told in our report filed by Joseph Akable, the sentence has not been quashed.
So let's walk through the thing.
Yes.
He was convicted.
Lawyer Jansen, yeah.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just talking about what was reported. He was convicted of contempt. The Attorney General came in and appealed the sentencing. Okay, so he did not get sentenced. That's why we say he's been saved from jail time or a fine. Okay, but the conviction still stands, which means he's a convict.
Wait, hang on. He was found guilty.
That means he was convicted.
Contempt is not a crime.
Yeah, well, it's a semi.
People have gone to prison because of contempt.
Yes.
I mean, but that's at the discretion of the judge.
So it's not about whether it's a crime or not. He was convicted.
Mr. Atubiga, the one who wants to contest for the flag bearer.
IGP David Asante appeared to. He's a lovely gentleman, by the way. Good morning to you. I know he watches us.
This was appealed, though.
But I think it's the sentence that she appealed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because this was at this happened at the
Joseph Akable. Can we get his intro? He says that
this happened.
It has not been quashed.
Okay, Fred. We don't have powers, but can you just play the court story again?
We beg you, please play it.
So
for
we'll
us.
play the court
this
story.
One there.
We need to end the review. We'll come back.
We want to know whether our IGP is a convict.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, you didn't say that. Well, you said said he watches the show, yeah?
He
so
does,
can we say
yes,
good
and-
morning to him?
Yeah, he's a great guy, though. He has a great sense of humor. I'm
Good
sure
morning,
he's laughing
Mr.
away with
David
us right now.
Asante Apietu. I'm looking for the sticker that says policeman's wife. I'm looking for that sticker, so maybe you can help me.
Right? Do we have the clip? Can we play it? Right, let's go.
Wants to escape.
This issue has traveled from 1988 when a woman, Mrs. Agri, now deceased, filed a case against Redco Company Limited. She said they had failed to pay an amount of money owed her. She won the case as the court in a judgment attached the property, a block of flats at Medina in Accra. That is to say, if Redco fails to pay the money, the court will sell the property in order to retrieve the money for her. Redco appealed this decision but lost. Even before the court ruled on the matter, Redco gave out the property to the Ghana Police Service to house some of its officers. The applicants then went back to court to seek an order for the police to vacate the property and rather help execute the High Court's order to sell the facility. But the police, according to documents available to JoyNews, failed to do so, instead claiming ownership of the property. The lawyers then filed another case citing the IGP for contempt. They argued that once the flat is in the custody of the court, it is illegal for anyone to sell or buy it, and that the police should have done due diligence. They also argued the police has failed to perform its statutory duty and, for that matter, have willfully disobeyed the orders of the court to provide security for the execution of the court order. Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame on Thursday informed the court an application for suspension of execution and a notice of appeal had been filed. A third application by the state is aimed at laying claims of ownership of the property for the Ghana Police Service. Mr. Dami also apologized to the court for the failure of the Inspector General of Police to make it to court. The case has been adjourned to November 1.
No, we leave it at that.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. That's the information.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we'll bring you sports up next. And the world of sports is talking about the FIFA Council meeting happening in Kigali,
Oh, they are doing that?
Rwanda. Yes.
Wow.
And Infantino is coming up with
Wow.
some new, is it innovation or creativity that's getting strong opposition as well. We'll leave the details to
The sports team is coming up.
Yes.
But the story says that they are going to appeal the ruling. But in the meantime,
go and read the judgment.
It's only the suspension of the conviction.
So this is what we will do. Roland,
that we can lay claim to.
Quiet.
Because now they haven't appealed the ruling.
Quiet. So we will go and read the judgments,
Yes, true.
the High Court judgments.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back on the show on Monday.
It is true. No. We'll just seek some legal opinion.
With full knowledge.
education.
Exactly. And then we'll educate ourselves and educate.
We're taking a break. Sports
Sports up next. Charlie Mukona the meat pie.
Sports.